You mentioned Sammy Swindell, 8 prelim wins, I believe it is, going for his 9th. We could see Swindell Motorsports go back to victory lane. Going to be a great night, night number 3. Brian Ward down in the infield. I know you've got your eyes on a certain young driver who's making his Chili Bowl debut tonight.
That's absolutely right. I've got my eyes on 17-year-old Shelby Hinton out of Louisiana. He's been dominant in the micro ranks around the region. This summer he traveled around, went to big races throughout the country to try and get seen, and it worked out for him. He's going to be in the Clap 4B tonight, driving that beast, replacing J-Mac, who's been perfect in that car the last couple of years, so he gets to fill those shoes. That driver making his debut here at the Chili Bowl has only been in a midget 4 times. He ran the Jody Rosenblum 14 car for 3 shows back in October around the area with the Extreme Outlaw Series. He already got a heat race win, and at the Sooner State 55, he went 21st to 3rd behind only Zach Dahm and Gavin Boschel. So a good shoe in that car tonight. He's starting P7 in heat race number 1. It's going to be a heavy lockdown track early in the night, but he's got opportunity to move forward and make some points, and then maybe get him in a qualifier and make some points again. I'm looking to see a good night out of Shelby Hinton driving that 4B tonight. Georgia, who do you have up top?
Well, I have my eye on the 14-car compound of Keith Kunz Motorsports. It's the first time since 2017 a Keith Kunz Motorsports entry has not made the top 5 in the first 2 preliminary nights. So tonight, 2-time Chili Bowl champion Rico Abreu, Taylor Reimer, and Cade Lewis have a chance to do that for Keith Kunz Motorsports. Chris?
Thank you, Georgia. I'm excited. Northeast Dirt Modified roots for me. Timmy McCready had an excellent night last night. 16 preliminary nights, 16 top 10s. McCready, of course, originally from the Northeast Dirt Modified ranks. Tonight, we get 2 more to join the show. Billy Van Inwagen out of Port Jervis, New York, and Max McLaughlin, originally from Mooresville, North Carolina. He's relocated to the near Baldwinsville, New York Baldwinsville, New York area, excuse me. Billy Van Inwagen nearly won the $30,000 championship this season at the Orange County Fair Speedway. Max McLaughlin was a top contender in the Short Track Super Series Elite this season, so both heavy hitters in the Northeast, both looking to come down here and make their names in the national ranks here at the Chili Bowl. Guys, I'll send it to you in the booth.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much. All of our pit reporters will be with you in and throughout the night, rotating up to the top of the ramp, down in the middle of the infield, and we have a special treat for you coming up tonight.
We certainly do, and it's been, I don't want to say leaked, but the word on Twitter was starting to go around about 10 o'clock or so this morning, and so we'll bring it to you now that we're going to have, for the first time ever, a all-drivers broadcast. Not the whole night, of course, because yours truly and Caleb is in here in the booth, but for the A-Main qualifiers coming up later on tonight, scheduled for around the 7:30, 7:45 mark this evening. We're going to have an all-drivers broadcast with 3 in the booth. That'll be Clinton Boyles, Logan Seavey, Dylan Welch is going to be here to anchor the coverage. And then in the infield, we have Chris Wyndham, who I hear is a nervous Nelly on this job. He's already texted George about a million questions about what he needs to do. Can't wait to hear that. And then a special treat, Jason McDougal is going to be at the top of the ramp doing interviews, and he already tweeted saying it's going to be a comedy hour. So
I'm hoping
bring it
so.
on. Bring it on.
There is nothing quite like driver-on-driver action when it comes to finding out what they're thinking, what they did, etc. So I'm kind of stoked for this. Clinton will be in the booth at some point in time with us as well. We're giving him hot laps off. He's got a busy night. He had a busy night last night, too. He did. Recorded another Talking Tulsa segment.
Yeah, excellent job with Alex Bowman. If you haven't checked it out yet, on the FloRacing tile, they actually did 2 laps. They were getting so good conversations together, talking about Alex's background, of course, racing midgets out west, and then how he got into NASCAR. Pretty cool stuff. Taylor, you're in here, and we were just talking a little bit. This has been the Ramco team that you and Kevin Ramey are with. You know, obviously the name relatively new, but you were just telling me it's been, 4 or 5 years now since the both of you kind of took a step away from the driver's seat full-time and focusing on hiring drivers. And look at you guys now. You bring several cars in this building each and every year.
Yeah, so really we started, me and Kevin teamed up in 2016. We both raced our own cars, and then about 4 years ago we decided to step away. It's just time. This building doesn't get any easier every year. I mean, every year it's tougher and tougher. So we decided to bring some guys in that do this a little bit more often than we do, just to give ourselves a chance. But with doing so, we didn't just, bring your standard off-the-shelf cars. We decided to build something a little bit different. Still takes your standard bolt-on spike parts because we don't want to have to fabricate everything. But we wanted something that when we showed up on Sunday or Monday, whenever practice might be, we wanted to be closer. We wanted to not find out after qualifying night that, oh man, we should have done this. And we've created that feel, and every year I feel like we keep getting better and better. Our motor packages are, I would say, 100 times better than we are now with the Toyota and Honda programs that we're running. And then we have a couple of rentals to help us get through, make this an affordable trip for us. And it's great partnerships as well with the rentals, because it's not only just a rental to me. It is a partnership, because we're also taking a guy like Josh Balicki, who did, I think, fantastic last night.
Impressed a lot of people, for sure.
Considering he had never even, that's the first time he's ever raced a dirt car outside of NASCAR at Bristol.
Yeah.
And he did great.
So I want to ask you a little bit about cage construction, but first we got to start talking about the cars that are on the racetrack, as we have got Hot Lap Session number 1, the Dirt Draft Hot Lap Session number 1 on the track. And these are the cars from heat races number 1 and 2 that you'll be seeing later on in the program.
That's Shelby Hinton, who we heard from Brian Ward in the infield, the micro shoe. I had the pleasure of checking him out at Seabell's Micromania, the big event out at Little Texas Motor Speedway in September, and certainly turned heads, finishing second to Kyle Larson in that main event in that 3-day show. So certainly a guy who knows how to wheel, but a Chili Bowl rookie, and not a bad seat to be in if you're a Chili Bowl rookie. We know what that Cloud Enterprises 4B can do around this place for sure, as everybody remembers the soup run for Jason McDougal a couple years ago.
So Hinton with a chance to make some points. However, he's going to have a tall task ahead of him as you get a look at car number 56. That'll be the row right ahead of him, Mitchell Davis. In the 56 car, he goes inside row number 3 here in the first heat race. Beautiful Odell Trucking sponsored car. Little adjustment of the helmet and ready to go for Mitchell.
We'll roll off again from the 5th spot in heat race number 1 in that 56 entry.
You got your dirt draft lineup set?
I did.
Okay.
We literally just did it right as we were coming on the air here on FloRacing. I'll go ahead and reveal. I was going back and forth a little bit with my 4th and 5th pick. This one right here, I don't know how many people might have picked up that he is where he is. I don't know that you want to give away that 5th pick. No. You know what? Why don't we give it away after heat races start when nobody can adjust their lineups?
I think that's the better way to do it. Because finding that guy...
The numbers would interest me.
Yeah, exactly. That's value. A lot of it. But you've got your lineup set. You guys should get your lineup set as well. If you haven't played Dirt Draft before, get online. It's dirtdraft.com and sign up. If you're a new user, use the promo code FloRacing and we'll send you a free FloRacing Hawk t-shirt for your new Dirt Draft subscribers. So check that out. We'll tell you more about the program coming up in just a little bit.
And try to beat me. I'm in the top 10 in the whole Chili Bowl.
So, speaking of Shelby Hinton and being a rookie, especially at this place, right? Yeah. Caleb, have you ran Chili Bowl?
Nope. I had one season of running a midget and found out that I stunk and retired.
I understand that 100%. So, rolling down that ramp, especially come Saturday, but even on any preliminary night as a rookie, that feeling is truly amazing, but you also want to throw up at the same time.
Yep.
And then when you roll out here and you feel like you're like a fish inside of a glass bowl.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so I've been on the track more recently than Chris has, though, because I got to take the ride in the 2-seater last week at the Tulsa Shootout. I was amazed at how quick the corners came up. Those straightaways are short. As I'm thinking about it, too, fish in a glass bowl is a really good way to put it, and especially with the lack of an inside barrier around the track, where it's open but you see all those people and all that equipment in there, you do feel very confined running out on this raceway, as small as it is.
Yes,
interesting feeling.
It is, but it's one of those feelings. It's just like it gives you chills or goosebumps, right? But but just like any racer, once you fire that thing up and you put that shield down and you hit the gas, none of that matters.
Cars out on the racetrack. We saw Nathan Bird making his, I believe, Chili Bowl debut. He is in the 19N for Hayward Motorsports, running super modifieds much of 2022 Western Midgets as well. As you take a look at the rest of Heat Race 1 and 2 out on the racetrack, they're going to wheel pack this track. Again, brand new racing surface. Gravel was here, I believe, till 4 a.m. And interesting, we were talking to Steve Hahn here this afternoon. With the Tulsa Shootout, Gravel was in this building pretty much 23 out of the 24 hours of the day. He basically slept here. Learned this week that due to his full-time job, having actually a conference in downtown Tulsa during this week, he is not in the building until 5 o'clock. So
Interesting.
it's been Steve Hahn over the course of the overnight into the early morning hours of the to kind of get this racetrack in the spot to where when gravel gets here, he can take over.
So I will say, with the track crew here, I work with a lot of the guys that are doing the dirt work on a regular basis down at Devil's Bowl with Martin Edwards and his dad and all those guys that are down here doing it. They do this year in and year out, and it's almost, they just have it they have that down at Devil's Bowl with Martin Edwards and his dad and all those guys that are down here doing it. They do this year in and year out, and it's almost, they just have it they have it, everything's lined out. But even if you go to a show at Devil's Bowl, and if you haven't, you should. They have 50 years this year, but it is truly magnificent how smooth their surface is every single night. And I think that, shows through and through here. And I think that, over the last couple of years, the track maintenance crew has gotten a lot of publicity about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they still get enough credit. Plus the people in the pit area. I was telling Matt Ward last night, your pit stewards, they may, talk loud over the microphones and cuss at these drivers and everything else.
They get them in line.
I said, but if I was promoting this race, I would want those people on my side because they're going to get it done.
Taking a look at some of the drivers on the track. That's Wyatt Rotz in the 17D. Wyatt going off outside row number 4 here in the first heat race. 9 heat races tonight instead of 8 as a bigger field than usual. As we're going to kick things up top 2, I believe Connor Wade with another update for us. Connor.
Ricky Thornton Jr. is coming to the Chili Bowl with so much momentum after an incredible Tulsa shootout, 2nd and 8th last. Ricky, how do you carry the momentum from shootout into your second Chili Bowl?
I'd say probably the biggest thing is I just learned a lot there at the shootout track-wise, and hopefully it transfers to this. It's only my second midget start. It's me and Timez in the front row, and Rico starts behind me, so it's going to be pretty tough, but everyone's beatable. As long as I can just run a good race, do my own pace, and just don't do something stupid, I think we'll be pretty good.
You kind of get a feeling that's going to be a crazy heat race. I mean, those are two pretty good studs that are in that heat with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely say probably turn 1's going to be the most exciting. I don't think Mirror Timez will probably lift, so hopefully we just don't wreck this thing and we can be good for the rest of the night.
Did you get the seat situation figured out?
Yeah, we finally got it all figured out. I was giving my crew crap today. I said, I think we need to change it again. That way every time I go out, I got a different seat. So I'm comfortable now. Hopefully I'll be comfortable here later.
Well, Ricky Thornton Jr. was incredible during the Tulsa shootout. Looking for more success in the open wheel world here tonight on his Chili Bowl prelim run, boys.
Thank you, Connor. Yeah, I talked to him a little bit this afternoon before the driver draw and the seat situation. I asked him about the narrow body midget. He says it wasn't that. It was his micro seat. Again, remember, the leg cutout on the bottom wasn't cut out as far because you don't need that in a micro, so he couldn't get his foot off the throttle. It was pinned to the floor when he was in hot laps.
So he didn't actually have a quote-unquote micro seat in the micro at that point in time.
And kudos to Dave Sharpley, who from Sharp Advantage that actually messaged me that and kind of mentioned that he got him hooked up the Ultra Shield seat, and he's good to go.
That'll work. Taking a look, another one of the cars on the racetrack. That is the 37 of Ashton Thompson, outside row number 3 in the second heat race out of Salem, Indiana.
Also fun to point out here, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Sam Haverty was teamed up with Rusty Coons.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be something interesting to watch. I know I've worked with Sam in this building before, and he's always been fast. He just has that Tulsa luck, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't usually very good. So I think it's going to be very cool. I know Rusty had been preparing both those cars up in his shop and moving forward, and I'm excited to see what they do.
6A on the racetrack is Caleb Henry, outside row number 2 from Sacramento, California. Wing sprint car ace out in Central CA. As the green lights are on, let's start hot laps.
Sammy Swindell getting on the loud pedal again. We also saw Blake Hahn out there as well. 2-time ASC sprint car champion now after winning his second in a row 2022. Take a look at Swindell. There is Daniel Whitley running the Abacus Racing 57.
Look back to Hinton's 4B as we've got caution lights on.
Did you guys see that? The water coming out of the back of the 57?
Oh, there you go. Look at that thing.
That's not water, that's fuel. They need to shut that off.
Yeah. I mean, that is a geyser.
They need to stop him.
Yep. Well, they're motioning him to pull in the infield, and there it is. I would go ahead and just quickly hop on out.
Like, one of the main bypasses or something come right off.
So that's 57C of Adam Taylor that you're looking at in there from Channahon, Illinois. Fire bottle on hand, ready to take a peek.
Either that or some of these lines that the guys are using now are very lightweight to try and save every little bit that they can, and they'll get those little pinholes in them, especially under so much pressure.
It's amazing the difference. working back at home, working for Joe's, we sell a whole bunch of different lines and stuff, and how much lighter your truly lightweight line gets as compared to, the old school rubber hose or whatever it is we want to use through there. Taking a look up at the top of it, I mean, caps attached.
It honestly looks like probably a line issue, because it looks like everything's connected. I mean, sometimes those main bypasses will have a bad O-ring or they get dry, but when they're under pressure like that, they usually seal back up.
Cody Swanson, the Damping Sport P. We saw his teammate Darren Nida, the rookie, do an impressive job last night. We'll see what the 7-time USAC Silver Crown champ can do back in a midget here at the Chili Bowl. As we're back underway, hot lap session number 1. Oh, look out, Ashton Thomason getting to Sam Haferteep Jr. Again, this is just hot laps. There's Daniel Whitley. Shelby Hinton in that East Platte Enterprises 4B. Cornette in the 55C. As you take a look at the dirt draft hot lap times, Daniel Whitley at the top. And again, 12-4, we saw, was it Jade Avedisian yesterday in dirt draft hot laps, 10-5. That is blistering
and
around
I'm
here.
thinking come heat race time, with as much water as on this track, you're going to see those times again.
Sure.
Because right now, this time last night, they were already close to that time, and we're 2 seconds off.
Yeah.
So it's juiced up. It's greasy. These guys are having fun. It's almost like going to a little go-kart slick track, and
Yep.
They're having to figure it out. Unfortunate for them, though, they're not really learning a whole lot.
Well, I don't know that this hot lap session is over.
I don't
They're
think so.
staying out on the racetrack and packing some
Yeah.
more. I was going to say that would have been relatively
If they
short
go and
comparatively.
I will say if they go and pick up a second here, they're probably going to go ahead and send them off.
Now-
But they're definitely going to let them go at least another 3 or 4
Now,
laps.
on top of this, there's an additional 10+ more cars tonight than there were
Yeah.
last night, so
Yeah.
there'll be a little more.
79.
Yep.
So do you think that's going to qualify a D-main tonight, or still?
Yes,
Yeah.
we will have
Yeah.
D-mains tonight for the first time all week. 79 drawing in this afternoon. That's a pretty hefty number.
So an interesting fact on that is now the soup on Saturday. The first 2 nights didn't have a D main, so
Right.
anybody that didn't make it out of a C main last night will now be ahead of these guys that don't
That
make
is
it out of
true.
a D main tonight.
Yes, so you definitely don't want to be pinned down in a D-main.
This is the early morning wake-up call on the alarm clock.
Yes.
It's what you don't want.
Yes.
I may be here at 9 o'clock, but it's not because of soup.
Clinton's rule is if you're racing before noon, I'm not there. So,
Yep. But
and I'm okay with that.
But you want to talk about bang for your buck as a race fan.
Yeah.
You want to come here and watch racing all day long, this
There
is
you
the
go.
place to be.
Yep, Saturday morning, absolutely.
So I don't know if you caught it earlier on in the week in the broadcast, Taylor. There's 3 guys down from the Pacific Northwest who came to surprise me, of all things, who are down watching. Well, one of those guys, and they're all going to be here starting Saturday morning. Like, they're like, oh, okay, when's the building open? I'm coming right in on Saturday. I'm like, you guys are getting up that early? I mean, that's 5 a.m. their time, thereabout.
Yeah.
They also have put together like a little additional points fund for the highest finishing Northwest driver. That is the Northwest driver who is listed or previously from a hometown. $1,600 for the highest finishing Northwest driver.
Wow.
Oregon, Montana, Idaho, Washington.
Wow.
So
So
well
you're
done,
saying
Andrew
Torgerson
Kuhnsen.
has a chance.
He does. There you go. Let's kick things to Georgia Henneberry. Georgia.
Well, it was a fuel line fitting. That was the problem on the 57C. As you can see, the helmet back on of Adam Taylor. So he's at least going to get back out there to try to fire this thing back off, see if any fuel is leaking out of it, and make those adjustments. Guys?
From where that fuel was coming out, you wonder if that's coming out of the lower pickup, the bulkhead down there, maybe?
It's definitely a return line, because with it coming that way, it can't be a suction, because it's gonna, from that area there, it's gonna come from the tank, a suction would. So the return line is, with that much pressure, I mean, you're talking 400 to 500 depending on what motor he's running. That's a lot of pressure coming through there. But I wonder which one it would be. Considering, usually most guys that are returning everything back to the tank, you've got your secondaries, your stumbles, your main pills, and your high speeds. So I'm surprised it was even running with as much fuel that was coming out.
That's Caleb Henry, who we saw on the screen as Georgia was giving her report, having some issues getting fired off. There's
See,
a
the
good look
line-
right there.
The line that we saw leaking, or what I could see was leaking, would be the main pill holder, which is the one there on the far right of the chassis. And that one does it occasionally. Will get, especially if you don't get it on all the way. Some guys, you have to get it in on there, click and turn, and then it'll stay locked in.
Really good look at your fuel plate top setup that you got going on that. Not something that we see all the time. as we were watching the 08 of Trey Gropp idle around. He goes off 9th in the first heat race, which we thought was going to be a death knell on Buddy Gofoyd last night. Certainly did not being so, as racetrack has gone back to green flag conditions here in this first hot lap session.
He's going to be a guy that's going to want this run in pretty good, coming from that deep in the field on the opening heat race. You can still see pretty juiced up. Everybody kind of fighting that steering wheel, real greasy around the racetrack, but we're going to get at least 3 or 4 more laps here to look at Blake Hahn tracking down the 19M machine, the N machine of Nathan Bird.
Look at Gropp as we fade back through the field and get a good look at some of the other drivers. Nate Byrne in the 19 car. There is the 16 of David Campfield Jr. Campfield's been coming here to the Chili Bowl for many years. Campfield currently 5th on the speed chart.
Shelby hitting 11.248. So quickly, we went from a 12.4 to an 11.2 after wheel packing a few more laps. As you watch Blake Hahn negotiate Ashton Thomason, Cody Swanson, David Canfield Jr. there in the 16C, your top 3 in dirt track hot laps. They're going to let it go pretty long here in this first group. Finally, checkered flag is out as you take a look at the rotors on the Cornet machine, 55C.
He's lighting that thing up big time. His rear end's going to be hot, hot, hot.
Hahn laying down a pretty decent lap there, considering the track conditions and the traffic he was in.
Yeah, saved the best for last. Tried to get through there on that second to last lap to find some sort of opening.
Well, and how about Cody Swanson? I mean, this isn't his norm.
No.
This isn't his ball game. He really steps out of his box on this one. I mean, when you think about a multi-time champion like he is, this still isn't what he does.
No.
You know, but he's a racer, and he's a racer at heart, and he loves it. And he's I will say his dirt side of things have gotten a whole lot better the last few years.
Sure.
You know what we just saw there was a play right out of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars playbook. You'll see that very frequently on nights where they'll come out. That first section will race around on a hot lap for a little bit. They'll stop. They'll wheel pack for about 5-6 more laps and then let it go again. And they found on that it really did knock lap times down pretty significantly just with that little wheel pack after a few laps of active running the car in. So
you'll see it at Kokomo too, especially during their bigger events where they know they've got a lot of cars and they've got to get they've got to get enough water on it to make it last. But I figured once they did that and they picked up the lap times like they did, that would be the end of it. Because really, I mean, that first few laps they didn't get to learn anything.
Not much.
No.
So you're in Dirt Draft Hot Laps right now here on our broadcast of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals, presented by NOS Energy Drink here on FloRacing. And again, you guys can still lock in your Dirt Draft lineups. If maybe one of those cars caught your eye and you said, I want him in, you can sure get him in there.
Yep. You can go right up to the start of heat races, so you've got a little bit more time. I'd say about probably, 15, 20 minutes?
Just about. If you end up being the overall leaderboard winner, which, Chris,
I'm in the running for.
You're 6th right now. There is a custom Dirt Draft Chili Bowl trophy coming your way. If you're 2nd through 25th, you're getting a bunch of bonus points towards the Speed Shop, and the Speed Shop has all kinds of cool stuff in it. It's got merch, it's got tickets, it's got pay-per-views and subscriptions, experiences, you name it. So check it out at dirtdraft.com. There is the man going for his 8th preliminary night feature win, Rico Abreu in car number 24. Rico goes inside row number 2 in the 3rd heat race tonight.
Yeah, and I think, of course, coming into Wednesday, he has been Mr. Wednesday, 5 straight Wednesday prelim wins. Again, you mentioned going for his 8th total, and that would tie the all-time record with Slammin' Sammy as the most prelim night feature wins. So a lot on the line for Rico. Really cool that he changed the number here. Still run for Keith, the run in the 24, just like a sprint car, of course, partnering this year with James Hodge Auto Group. And he's also doing a really cool promotion. I'm sure you've seen it, Taylor, too, as well. ShopRico.com offering a raffle for literally a life-size Rico. Pretty sure the mannequin comes, but it's fully it's got his Chili Bowl helmet, Chili Bowl suit, gloves, shoes, Everything he's wearing this weekend will be up for grabs, and it'll all come on a mannequin to your house if you win the raffle, and all the proceeds going to several different charities close to Rico. So really cool effort, something to be part of.
Did you see the little 22 Stevenson sticker on the car as well?
Yeah.
That's a cool thing that's going on here locally, and I got to pull up my read for it. But I'll get to that while you guys talk about a guy who's had a lot of success in this building, Matt Westfall. Wait, hang on. First, we got to check in with Georgia. Georgia.
There we go. The mic was not on yet, but I have Corey Day, last year's Chili Bowl Rookie of the Year. Corey, you have found a new home here at Matt Wood. What's the dynamic been like so far?
Yeah, you know, it's been good so far. Practice day was really, really good. I felt comfortable. It's hard to get me comfortable in a midget being a wing guy, you know. The non-wing stuff just, you know, lays on the right rear and the wing car lays left, and I'm not comfortable on the right rear. But, you know, Shane's a wing guy too, and he's done a really, really good job getting me comfortable. And, you know, Rizzy, Stefan, Keto, T-Light, and Shane, you know, they're all working really, really hard, and I appreciate them.
What's it going to take to get you to that peak level of comfort?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what we have here. We were really, really good in practice, I feel, in our second session. That's the best I've felt in the midget. So I think we're pretty close so far. So it gives me confidence. You know, Shane running second to locking in on Monday, and then you know, being really good in practice on Sunday without even having, you know, more than 6 laps turned makes me confident too.
Well, that's the 17-year-old sprint car phenom, Corey Day. Guys?
Thank you, Georgia. Yeah, what an impressive run a year ago for Corey Day in this building, and kind of replicates what we saw last night with Jade Avedissian, Chili Bowl rookie, putting it on the podium on a prelim night. So rookie success here at the Chili Bowl continues.
And beating the female record. You know, it's impressive, you know, and I know the girls don't like to be compared that way, you know, but they are. These girls are showing up. I watched Kaylee Bryson and Tim McCready last night over there in turn 3. And to do what she did and to hold off a guy that's so good around the bottom, she did amazing, you know. And then watching those guys race last night, or guys and girls race last night, I mean, they put on a show, and they race really, really well. They have great car control. You know, when you watch Kaylee and Jade race, you know, I'm pretty sure that they would make me look stupid any day.
Saw Thomas Meserol there, top 10 last year in the Saturday A-Main, a 9-time Chili Bowl starter. And there is another rookie, Cade Lewis, running in the Keith Kunz Motorsports stables. Again, we talk about K-Cam downsizing one car this year to 14, still an impressive stable.
And you know, he has his family has quite the background, and not in racing. His dad was a pitcher for the Texas Rangers for quite some years. He was closer, I believe. You know, he played the World Series with them, etc. And if you see Kate's dad out there, he's huge.
Carson Hocevar, the Dave.com 31. He's got a tall task in his heat races. The front row of his heat is Thornton and Meserol, and inside of him on road number 2 is Rico Abreu.
Yeah, he walked by me after driver draw and said he had to go visit the restroom, deposit his lunch, because he's a little bit nervous for that heat race. But on that note, let's go Connor Wade. Connor, what do you got for us?
Really quick update on Caleb Henry. We saw him out on the track. They couldn't get the Pedregon-owned machine car to fire. I went over and talked to the crew. They said they've been having fueling issues with that machine all week and just haven't quite figured them out. I'll keep you guys updated if I hear if they figure out exactly what it is, but they believe it's a fueling issue as they continue to have those issues.
Interesting. Now, 2 fueling issues already here in Hot Laps. As Dirt Trap Hot Laps are underway, we'll take a look at Rico Abreu on the loud pedal. See what kind of lap times we have in section number 2.
Abreu had a really good start to the Race of Champions main event. Fell off a little bit after a while.
Parker Price Miller running the Spike Chassis entry. That car last was run here in this building by Donnie Schott. So PPM getting the tab to drive that number.
Taking a look at T-Mez, finding some room up and around the outside, running into the fluffy stuff, zipping his way down the back straightaway and putting another one into the rearview mirror that doesn't actually exist. Right ahead of Thomas was a guy we haven't talked about yet. We'll get to him in a matter of mere seconds as you take a look at Carson Sousa in the 0-1.
That's Hocevar again in the 31. As we'll pick up the Alexander and Tim's own machine. That is KTJ, Kevin Thomas Jr. Said he was very confident after practice on Sunday. As there's T-Mez, as the lap times continue to fall for this group, and nobody challenging inside the top 3 except Kevin Thomas Jr. puts it in P2 on the final lap as the Checkered flag is out. 11.188 for KTJ. Meserol top 5 run as well overall. 11.305.
Han, KTJ, Hinton, Swanson, Meserol. Oddly enough, Abreu down a little ways, 14. We'll monitor that and continue.
That could be just the difference in track position with getting behind some slow cars that you can't quite get around. And you know, we don't ever want to win hot laps, but you always want to feel confident afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a confidence booster, but you definitely can put yourself in a bad spot if you take it a little bit too seriously, right?
Exactly.
Certainly can lose the Chili Bowl. Can't win it in hot laps. So a little congestion up the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam. Again, thank you to NOS Energy Drink being our presenting sponsor of coverage here on FloRacing. And hey, don't forget, I know it took a minute for us to get to it yesterday.
But
hashtag tweet your Flo seat.
That's right. We want to know where you're watching from. We want to see what color, what can of NOS that you're drinking tonight. So hashtag tweet your Flo seat. You need to tag us at FloRacing, and you need to tag at NOS Energy Drink at the same time. And let us know where you're watching from. Show us your setup. We're excited to share this race with you. And hey, you guys are inviting us into your homes. May as well give your homes a little PR as we get in through the night. So again, hashtag tweet your Flo seat at FloRacing at NOS Energy Drink. The best submission throughout the week.
Yes, this is big.
12 entire cases of NOS Energy Drink.
And a fridge.
Cases, yes, and the NOS Energy Drink fridge. Put them in.
No, that's cool.
You're going to be powered by NOS for a good long time.
And bonus points for me if you have a doggo in it.
That's right. And from me.
Oh, yes.
Right. We're
Proud
dog people
parents.
here. Yeah. We're not going to hate if you put your cat in the picture.
You and Mackenzie have a dog?
We have 4 dogs and now a 3-month-old baby.
Right, yeah.
So,
Wow.
So you're busy.
So
tell me more about the dogs.
So I've got 3 weenie dogs, Dachshunds, whatever you want to call them.
yeah.
And then I've got a massive Great Dane.
Oh,
He's black and white
Opposite
spot.
ends of the
Oh,
spectrum
yes.
here.
There's some
Yes,
discrepancy
there's
there.
discrepancy, but you know, I wouldn't have it any other way. And they've all been really good with the baby. Paisley's at home. She'll be here tomorrow with my
good.
wife.
Good.
And
We'll say hi to them at home. See you
exactly.
tomorrow.
And I don't know if you guys have seen the wagon that her grandpa built her back there in the pit area.
I think I saw. So it's a midget.
It's a little midget, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's on our it's on my social medias if people want to see it and look at it. But it's really cool. A lot of people are like, oh, we want to buy it, and you know, it's almost one of those one-of-a-kind things you almost don't want to recreate.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Sure.
So if you guys don't recognize the voice in booth with us, this is Taylor Courtney who's hanging out with us, part of the Ramco team, and multiple cars here at this year's Chili Bowl Nationals.
So we talked about that, but driving plans for 23? I know you still want to get behind the wheel at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Moonshine, you got to keep that going.
Yeah, exactly. So I the last couple of years, I've been mainly just focusing on running I have a 305 sprint car at home. You know, it's really big in Texas with the 305 sprint car, especially at Devil's Bowl. We'll get 20, 25 cars a night.
Yep.
So, you know, in the last few years, I raced 10, 15 times a year. It's pretty content for me. We usually make it up to Eagle, Nebraska and run the Nationals up there, which if nobody's seen that event, it's truly amazing. Roger Hayden puts on a heck of a show. I'm actually really excited to see the High Limit show there. There we go.
Good timing,
there's
guys.
the wagon.
Nice.
So
Paisley's one-of-a-kind midget wagon.
yes. And,
Yeah, I could see how others would definitely like one made for sure.
Yes, and then, you know, Wade with Kaiser, he helped us out.
Oh, look at the
I need to work
wheels.
with Dave Sharpley, though. Dave
Yeah.
Sharpley, I would love to get this card up there and get him to, you know, custom make her a seat, especially when she gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because Dave, his products are amazing. So,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Big
he's a
shout
little bit far for us, but, you know, I'll get it there hopefully this summer to go race for the Freddie Hopkins Memorial
Yes.
and the pup, Kevin Huntley. Go race that. They're supposed to have 2 5,000 to win race saver shows at Bloomington and Lincoln Park Speedway.
I would just like to point out to you that Hoosier go-kart tire that you have on that
It's
thing
quite
is
expensive.
in high demand at the moment.
Very
because
high
you
demand.
You can't even find the D30 compound, which is a really hard compound
You know,
anywhere. so
sometimes it pays to be in Texas.
there you go. Well, cars on the track here for this hot lap session, including the 0G. That is Glenn Stiers. Stiers from Oswego, Ontario, Canada, the owner-promoter of Oswego Speedway. Glad to have Glenn back down with us. Missed him for a little while there when Canadians weren't let over the border, but we're glad he made it. Also on the racetrack, this guy should be one of your big names going
Yes.
tonight. It's Jake Swanson, outside row number 2 in heat race number 6 out of Anaheim, California, running out of the Bowman stable.
And we saw how good Alex Bowman's car was yesterday until just unfortunately kind of having nowhere to go. And breaking in the feature, but he came in Bowman yesterday 4th overall in points to the feature. Great starting spot. So we know that these cars set up similarly. I know Alex likes to keep them around the same. Obviously, drivers have different driving styles.
Have you guys seen who's helping turn the wrenches outside of Joe Gertie in that pit area?
I didn't get back there to look. Who?
McDougal.
That's right. He was actually in the work area there helping Alex yesterday.
So, you talk about McDougal with the versatility he has, let alone in this building.
Yeah.
Just in race cars in general, then you add Joe Gertie on top of that.
Yep.
That's almost a threat.
100%. 100%.
I want you guys to keep your eye on the driver who just went out of our picture driving one of the JFM midgets, which are sneaky good. That's Tony Gomes, and I first caught Tony racing at Tulare Thunderbolt probably 5-6 years. If there's ever a guy who raced like Jack Hodenshield without the last name of Hodenshield, it would be Tony Gomes. He is absolutely fearless.
So watching him at he ran that car at Placerville.
A lot of Placerville for him. Yep.
Yeah. So when I watched him out there for the Hangtown 100, that was like, okay.
Yeah.
This guy's got something to work with, and then you put Josh Ford, put him in a Josh Ford car inside this building.
Jimmy May can turn a wrench.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
And those cars themselves for years have been competitive here. Look at Tyler Edwards the other night.
Yeah.
He did great.
So, there's a look at Tony Modesto, California driver. As we are ready to start getting on the gas, our dirt draft hot laps continue. You guys have just a little bit longer to get your dirt draft set. As soon as the drop of the green flag of the heat races, those lineups are locked as we are underway. 23T on the racetrack is Tristan Lee out of Biloxi, Mississippi. As you get a look at Chad Base through to the 98, being followed into the corner by Jake Swanson.
Yeah, Chad only races like once or twice a year, and there goes Swanson to the top in that 55A. So we talked about how good that race car is. Bottom of your screen, there's Carson Elledge making her return behind the wheel in the Dayback Dolby Motorsports 08.
Great to see Carson back in a race car after taking a little bit of time away. Right there, Swanson making the move on by, so Swanson super strong. Gomes, who we talked about earlier, got in the corner, led off so he could get more of a run on the guys in front of him and really test the limits of what that JFM car could do.
He's second quick, 11.012, so Gomes has the speed. Oh, we've got one really high, that's Cook in the 9P.
That Cook car is running out of the Brady Bacon group of cars this week, so getting really good expertise from within the building is Cook. Unfortunately, got to stay off the wall to really make that expertise count.
Ronnie Gardner leading this trio quintuplet set of cars as the checkered flag is out, and there is session number 3. Swanson to the top, 10.912. Gomes, Day, Hahn, and Crockett your top 5. Track still has lots of speed left in it as we take a look at, once again, the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam.
Yeah, Cook has Bacon and Hummel taking care of that car. And so you talk about a combination.
Oh, 100%. And always, important to surround yourself with that quality of wrench hands and everything like that.
And you throw DJ Lebo in there as well.
Yep.
Elbow is quite the hand as well. But the lap times are getting there. Well, I don't think we're quite where we were last night. But, I think that only makes for better heat races.
Yeah, still, I'd say about almost 4/10 off of what we saw Jade Avedisian do yesterday. But again, we're going to have a lot more cars out here on this racetrack, too, for hot laps, just because of 79 entries having signed in here for...
Well, and the two names we just talked about, Swanson and Gomes,
yep.
Straight to the top.
Yep, 100%. So heat races number 7 and 8 are going to come out on the racetrack. They may, depending on the car count, put 9 out there and then have them come to the infield. But I bet you 7 and 8 will for sure be out there. We'll see drivers like Sean Jackson, John Clabundy, J.D. Black, Brent Cruz, who, speaking of Brent Cruz, I know most of you folks tuning in may or may not be aware, there was a significant FAA issue with flight travel today. All flights were grounded till like after 9 a.m. East Coast time or a little bit after. And Brent Cruz went home after Sunday practice and tweeted he may not make it. And sure enough, rolled into the building just in time to make a pill draw throw on his suit, and he's back. So Brent Cruz certainly missing out, or nearly missing out, on running his prelim night. That was scary moment for sure. And that's kind of the risk you take when you go home, right? Some guys don't like to stay here in the building.
Sure.
I know for Brent, he's still in school. I know Gavin Bochelle went home for school after his prelim night. Lots going on.
Well, AJ Hopkins, one of my drivers, is going Friday. He's driving back in tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because he had to go home. He's not your, you know, he doesn't race for a living. He's
Yeah.
got a real job. He's got a family at home. He's got 2 little girls and wife and everything else, and he's got to go home and take care of that. And unfortunately, not everyone's very fortunate to just take a week off. And you know, really, it's 10 days. I mean, I'm going on day 7. You know, and by the time Saturday's over and I go home Sunday, you know, I'll be gone for over a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and shout out to AJ too. I know he tweeted his flow seat yesterday. Looking forward to seeing him. But that's a cool relationship because I don't know a lot of people know we all 3 used to race quarter midgets together way back in the day. And the fact that not only that friendship's there, but then I have AJ driving one of your cars, that's got to be pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, and AJ, I mean, especially around the Indiana tracks, I mean, it's hard to see his name's not in the results.
Yeah.
Because he's literally in the top 3, if not winning every, you know, not every night, but he's right there, you know. And so being able to bring him in here and the feedback and the knowledge that he has, and we know he's not afraid to step on the gas.
No,
I mean,
he's not.
there's one thing, if there's one thing I wish I could do is especially in here, is get AJ's right foot a little bit lighter. You know, and it's hard to say, but it's true. Sometimes in here, I mean, 3/4 throttle is about all you need and to get the car going.
Take a look at Brent Cruz. We just talked about making it just in time to come on out here and take part in preliminary night number 3 of the week. And it is Smiley Racing Products qualifying night here on this Wednesday.
Tom Lorenz and the guys at Smiley's. Smiley himself. You
Yep.
deal with Smiley? Living down in Texas?
Yeah, if you want to talk sprint cars and get a lot of knowledge,
Holy cow.
Smiley knows a lot, and he has a lot of good stories. You know, when we need stuff, especially, you know, Smiley's has quite a few stores around Texas, and even in Oklahoma City he has one. You know, and when Tom Lorenz took that over, obviously created a much larger product than what Smiley had, but Tom's done great with it. And you know, it's hard if you go to the Smiley store in Mesquite, their headquarters. If you can't go in there and find something, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
Because they literally have everything in there.
Smiley, for a guy who's been around the game so long, is still razor sharp.
Very.
With decades of experience now.
Yep.
Cool dude if you ever get a few minutes to talk
Yeah,
with him.
and that's one thing. I haven't had a whole lot of time to talk to him, but the little times that I do, especially if I have a question and no one else can answer a sprint car question, because Texas is the state of stock cars and modifieds and everything else.
Yep, but Smiley can.
Smiley can.
Yep, absolutely. Taking a look, the 2X on the raceway. Our driver from that is starting 9th from Rio Oso, California. That is Landon Brooks, going off 9th in heat race number 7. Hayden Reinbold outside row number 2 in the 19Z.
He had a pretty good year, considering, you know, for someone that never raced anything prior to jumping in a national midget. He picked up his first win. I think it was at Jacksonville.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jacksonville earlier this year.
You talk about a great group of people to race with. Reinbold's and AME and all those guys. They like to.
I was about to say,
it's a good time.
When it comes to being at the racetrack, some of the most professional, obviously, really nice equipment, top level drivers, but then they just enjoy the moment and then they enjoy the
And if you
part of
talk to
racing.
Andy, you know, championships are nice, but he just wants to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wants to win. He doesn't care what it pays. He just wants to win.
Wyoming's most traveled and experienced midget driver. There is Mark Chisholm from Cheyenne, a fixture here at the Chili Bowl Nationals. Inside row number 1, heat race number 7. 7J is going to go inside row number 4 from Bear, Delaware. That's Sean Jackson. He's in the 7th heat as well. Jackson, one of the Betts Garage group of cars. Him, Troy Betts, making the trip from
Danny Wood
out east.
Connor Wade is up top. Connor, before we fire off this next hot lap session, what do you got for us?
The crew is Denny Mitchell Moles ready to go out for Hot Laps. Mitchell got upside down while leading your prelim A-main last year on Monday. What do you feel like you have to do to stay out of trouble tonight?
Yeah, just not do what I did last year and just try and calm down a little bit, I think is what it comes down to. There's a lot of tension in this building, especially when you're leading, and these guys over here at CB Industries give me a hell of a car, and just see if I can keep it out of trouble and keep it up front for them this year.
You and CB Industries had a great year. USAC Midget Rookie of the Year, some USAC Midget wins, particularly at Eldora. You know, what of that program from the summer are you guys bringing into Chili Bowl, and are you as confident in it now as you were over the summer?
Probably a little bit more, honestly. Pretty hard to not be more confident when you ran a whole season of midgets. Just gotta keep clicking away and see what we can do here.
Mitchell Moles getting ready to go out for hot laps as the next session is on track and underway.
It indeed is Connor Wade as the green flag is dropped in a huge moment up on the bike, putting it back down. That's the 76 of Tom Savage. And Savage, who the nameplate reads nobody from nowhere, well, caught our attention in a hurry.
Beautiful save by him as you look at the yellow number 42 of Patrick Prescott.
Nearly wadded him up there as we have caution out on the speedway for the 72W.
Ty Wilkie, the driver out of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota.
How about Danny Wood?
Yep.
Flying Fossil.
Yes, and talk about someone that can still drive. I mean, that guy, I think last year he won a $10,000 to win race in Amarillo as a 305 race.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
and racing against guys, you know, my age if not younger.
Sure.
And just, you know, really just out driving them.
When you got it, you got it.
Yep.
All right, Wilkie fires back off.
Also out there on the racetrack, too, a story we were talking about, Caden Honeycutt, the asphalt late model driver, couple Cars Tour wins this year. Speaking of, big news for Cars Tour this week. I don't know if you saw. Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Getting involved with, I believe,
Kevin Harvick.
yes, Kevin Harvick. I was like, man, I'm blanking.
And
So is that going to be
Justin
Keelan?
Marks.
Justin Marks, too. Oh, right.
Yep.
And
Cool.
ownership group, new ownership group for
Oh,
Cars Tour.
cool.
Awesome stuff. As we're back under the green flaggers in Reinhold.
Get a look at the 76 of Sal. Bound by the 17 of Travis Berryhill, who's going on the outside front row of heat race number 8. There is Berryhill trying to move around the racetrack and get forward on Jackson. Jackson kind of denying him for the time being. Behind them should be the 5H of Casey Hicks.
That's Honeycutt in that blue 80 machine. Tested at Port City for several hours to get some laps in before his prelim night. As you take a look back at the field, check flag though is out. No major change, although Reinbold inside the top 5 with 11.067.
Cruz right there too, 11.072, 6th quick, so knocking on the door of making the top. Is time running out?
Track's still really not as fast as it was last night, which is probably going to mean one thing. The heat races are going to be quick.
Very quick, absolutely. Retaining a lot of that moisture, as I believe we are on our final group of hot laps here. Our Dirt Draft Hot Laps on Smiley Racing Products qualifying night here at the 37th Annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. Again, you're watching Broadcast on Flow presented by NOS Energy Drink.
Heat race 9 is the final hot lap session that's coming down the ramp. And Taylor, we have a few more minutes with you here. I wanted to ask you about your car construction, building those cars. Remarked when we saw Shane Cockrum out on the racetrack the other night, it almost looks like your midgets are almost built like a Big Max.
Yeah, so it is. You know, we wanted to build a car that you could fit a big guy into, right?
Okay.
My father-in-law, he's 6'2", 230, 240, you know. So, you know, we built a car that, you know, is constructed that way. And, you know, especially when you have a guy like Brody Roa, that is as tall as he is.
Yep.
AJ's no short guy. Shane's 6'1", 220.
Yep.
You know, so being able to build a car that way. But it's also, you know, more than that. You know, Shane, we've been working on the balance all week because he is definitely a lot different than what we normally have in the car. Not really so much weight-wise, but just where he's at in the car. He's not as tall.
Right.
He's more of, like I call him, he's built like a brick. He's all bottom end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so we've got a lot of left rear weight that we've got to get out of the car. And with that Honda, it's a lighter motor, but it sits a half-inch further offset to the left, and it's also 4 inches shorter than your standard push rod motor out there.
These cars midgets are already very weight sensitive. You spend a lot of time matching up the correct torsion bar to driver to chassis combination. So building your cars a little bit different gives you a chance to maybe do some different things with those bars in the rear of the car, right?
Exactly. And, you know, when I first called Spike to order the rear rack for him, Derek there at Spike, he goes, well, why do you need a rear rack?
Well,
I said, well, hold on. He goes, because usually if someone's ordering a rear rack, they just order a new car. I said, well, I am ordering a new car. I said, but I'm not. I said, I'm building a new car. I just need your rear rack so that way I know it's right. I said, because I don't want to sit there and try and get all these measurements that I don't need to do when you guys have already done it for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
I love getting into the car builder part of it. These guys have such knowledge of what they're trying to do and how they're getting around to accomplish it. The beautiful thing is you have something that is your own. The bad thing is that you can only look at yourself if you need to go troubleshooting on it too, right?
Exactly, because, fortunate enough, most of the parts fit. A spike part will fit on that car.
You did that by design.
But a lot of other things that we did, especially from the, let's just say the motor plate back, we changed some rack heights. We changed the way the way we mount the radius rods from the bird cage.
Okay.
Just because we wanted those extra adjustments.
All right.
And some guys, I was talking to Brady last night on Cameron Key's car. They were wishing they had some more adjustment on those radius rods from the rear, and they didn't. I said, you got to mess with those things a little bit more.
Right. There you go. Well, speaking of guy who has worked on, adjusted, and knows a lot about car construction, there he is, the GOAT of the Expo, Sammy Swindell. Guy who has worked on, adjusted, and knows a lot about car construction. There he is, the GOAT of the Expo, Sammy Swindell, inside row number 2 in Heat Race 9. I kind of feel like that's one of his best pill draws that he's had in a couple of different years. And Sammy ran the race champions, used it as a test session like he normally does, out on the racetrack, ready to get shoved off as he is looking for another preliminary night win himself in car number 1.
Taylor Reimer back with Keith Kunz Motorsports in the Buzz Balls 25K. What a year she's had as well. We talked about the female power inside this building. She tweeted, "I'm next," after watching what Kaylee and Jay did.
Yep.
And
that's got to give her confidence,
Oh,
too.
100%. Extreme Outlaw Midget winner, one of the first women to win a national race, as we documented as well this year. We'll go back up top to Connor Wade.
Thank you so much, Cody Swanson, in staging, getting ready for his heat race here in a little bit. Cody, I just saw Justin Grant come up talking to you. Was he asking you for advice on how to run a Silver Crown car?
Absolutely not. He knows how to do that just fine, and he's been a good friend and been trying to help us out here at the Chili Bowl, and thankful to be driving for Dan Binks, another good friend, and the support from Champion Spark Plugs. It's been a while, but it's fun to be back.
We know how good you are on the miles and in the bid cars. How comfortable are you in a midget on a small track like this?
I typically not at all, but so far this is the best I've felt this early in the week, and I don't know what that'll translate into, but I'm optimistic and just thankful for the chance.
What's the approach for the heat race?
Yeah, I mean, it's important, right? So hopefully just do the best job I can here.
All right, Cody Swanson, thank you for your time. Cody says this is the best he's felt at the beginning of the week. We'll see if that translates, and we'll see if he gets better as he gets on track for heat race action and throughout the week, guys.
Darren Nidisher made the other of the Binks Motorsports car look pretty good last night.
A lot of chatter about the motor as well.
Yeah.
I was looking at it earlier. Is it LS based or what? I mean, what have they done with it?
Back in the day, there were Volkswagens that were the 3-cylinders, right? I didn't get a chance to look that close, and I'm not a motor guy, so I'd be out of my realm anyways.
Yeah, I'm not a motor guy either, but looking at the intake and the exhaust and the way the heads and the valve covers, it looked LS based with the custom block and everything else.
Sammy Swindell as hot lap session number 4 of 4 out on the racetrack, and Swindell wasn't too happy about the race champions performance, and they went to work on that number 1 machine to get him where he wants to be. And Sammy now trying to get this car dialed in to go for a 9th preliminary night win. As you take a look, there's Justin Peck, and boy, what a breakout sprint car year for Justin, finishing 2nd in the All-Star Circuit of Champions, Tesla's All-Star Circuit of Champions point system this year. Several wins on the tour.
Z8 on the racetrack, that's Max McLaughlin. And then the car high through 1 and 2, making some good looking laps around the speedway. Also, exiting the corner, that's J.R. Ewing. He's got the pole for that heat race. In car number 2, Mitchell Bowles in the 89, making some good laps up and around the high side.
And Chadboat Industries already has 2 on the podium on Monday and Tuesday, with Chris Wyndham finishing 3rd and obviously Jade finishing 3rd yesterday. So they'd like to get hopefully maybe 1 spot into a lock-in spot, but so far up front to be on Saturdays. So Chad bringing some stellar cars, and
now
of course there's the
times,
speed.
Caleb, that you're pointing out there, definitely getting down there. So that's what I think these heat races are definitely going to be quick.
Well, we're quickly going to get to heat races. They're going to do opening ceremonies here in just a matter of mere minutes for the whole bunch of cars we got here tonight. Now is the time to finish off your dirt draft lock-in. Get it done. You got a chance to win all kinds of great stuff. It's at dirtdraft.com. FloRacing.com. And again, if you're a new user, use the promo code FloRacing for a free Flo Hawk t-shirt for new Dirt Draft subscribers. You can take a look. There's Chris tied for fifth. You're
Look
not
at
sixth.
that.
You're tied for fifth, buddy. Pretty good.
I mean, I'm just keeping the expectations in check here. When we
And
get to
then-
Friday, if I'm in this position, I'll be really excited.
And then Mr. Adorable lost some points last night in Chris Moore, unfortunately. That's all right. Apparently, Chris Moore 1 through 98 were also taken. So
yeah, apparently.
he'll be Chris Moore
I'll
99.
have to ask him about 99.
Taylor Courtney, thank you.
Yeah, man, it's
Enjoyed
been a
having you down
pleasure,
here.
dude.
That was
It was
awesome.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
very cool.
You know, look forward to coming back. And
Heck yeah.
You know, let's make it happen. You guys enjoy this, and I know I am. I'm gonna go sit my butt over there in turn 3.
I was going to say, so what's the plan for today since you got what?
Well,
you got cars tomorrow and Friday,
I got
right?
cars tomorrow and Friday, so tonight's my free night.
Sure.
Randall Rusher's already come and grabbed me. He wants me over there with the rowdies and the dirt crowd
There we
people.
go.
Yeah, I said as long as you make sure I got a seat, because I know what you guys do over there. I said,
Later, when we kick Chris out, can we send him over to the Rowdies and you make sure he won't get too injured?
Oh, no.
let's do it.
All right.
Put him on a mic though.
Oh, could be scary.
Yeah.
We may have to figure out a way to do that for sure.
All right, we'll
give
see
you
what
route-
we
I
can
know
do.
some people. I made sure they had that banner done this year.
Okay.
I like it. Very cool. Taylor
thanks so
Courtney,
much.
thank you for a few minutes, man. That was awesome.
No problem. Thank you guys.
All right, so we are going to be going into opening ceremonies here very quickly. Right now, they are even pushing the first heat race cars down the ramp, so this show is going to get started in a big hurry. Glad to have you with us on our coverage here on Flo Racing, the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals on Flo, presented by NOS Energy Drink. Let's go down to the infield for opening ceremonies.
Let us pray. Father, we thank